what advice do you give? And of course, there's lots of great tips, insights in your book for a leader who says, "Okay, how do I even start? Our culture is kind of meh right now. What are a couple of top priority things that I should focus on as a leader to start to have an impact on our culture?"
Yeah, right. Well, we started our book thinking about purpose, and we chose that in particular because purpose is your engine that drives everything you do, and you have to anchor everything to your purpose. But what people don't often do at the same time, or maybe they don't do particularly well, I've noticed, is articulate values, right? So if purpose is what your engine is, values are how you navigate, and values should be how you make decisions about where you're going to go with your purpose. And those values can't just be something a leadership team comes up with. It needs to be something generated that's true, organically true about the organization that people will buy into. And so that's where I would start if I were a leader, to say, do I know, and does everybody around me in this organization really know what our true purpose is in terms of making the world a better place? Not in terms of profit or service delivery, but how are we making the world a better place? And everybody does, whether you're working in the sewer department in Winnipeg. I mean, I need those guys, right? I need my sewer to be cleaned out so it works, right? That makes the world a better place, but we often forget about that. We don't talk about that. We need to talk about how we're making the world a better place, and we need to talk about how we're doing it and what our values are. So I'd say we got to start there, and then the second priority is to reorient your leadership team toward people and creating relationships of care between managers and the people that they manage or lead. Because once I know my manager cares about me, I then trust them. We saw a huge correlation in the study we did for this book between having a caring manager and trusting your manager. That was the single biggest factor that we found, the single biggest relationship. We studied about 20 different factors making great workplaces. If your manager cares about you, you trust them. It's axiomatic.
Absolutely. And that trust and that caring is the key to creating loyalty, right? That's how you create true employee loyalty. Why would I be loyal to you as a leader or this organization if I don't trust you and I don't feel I'm cared about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And people talk a lot about motivation and engagement. Well, if I feel cared about by my manager and I trust them, that goes a long way to helping me engage and feel motivated at work. Oh, yeah, I want to be here. This person has my back. They care about me. I'm going to develop because they're going to help me develop. And so I feel like we got to start there. What's our purpose, values, and does my leadership care about me? And then a whole bunch of other things can fall into place.
Absolutely. There was a survey or study done with Google where they looked at their top managers as well. And that was the number one thing. Does my manager care about me as a human being beyond the 8-hour presence at work? And I'm sure you may have experienced this too. I think for some people that feels like such a soft, fluffy, lightweight kind of thing, and yet we know it makes a world of difference.
Huge.
Yeah. So what is your advice, Eric, for because I get this all the time, right? For frontline employees that feel trapped in a dysfunctional workplace culture, and of course they feel a sense of helplessness. That they can't do anything. It's all because of those folks. Everything starts with the top. We hear all the time, and you have some good advice in your book for frontline people. So what would you tell them, frontline employees who want to make a difference and start shifting their culture?
Right. Well, I feel like we need to begin by realizing for frontline people and everybody that we all have agency and we all have influence. We all actually exert leadership. Leadership is this influencing people. It's just that most of us are unconscious of that. And yes, when we have a position in the hierarchy, we may have more influence, obviously. For me, if I were a frontline person and I was struggling with my workplace culture, I would start by asking questions. And trying to connect with my own leader or my leader's leader around what do they really want to see happen within the workplace, and saying, how can I get tied into this? Just noticing things. Like, I'm noticing that I'm not sure that all of us are anchored into the purpose in the way that we could be. I'm not even sure we're all very clear about that. Could you help us? I'm not sure all of us really know each other very well, but I feel like if I knew my colleagues well, I'd be able to work with them better and enjoy it more. Is there a way that we can do more of that? Like, for me, you can't demand as a frontline worker, or I suppose you could try, but I'm not sure how great that would be. But you can certainly ask questions and make observation. And if I were somebody reading this culture question book and I was in a frontline position, I would read it thinking, how can I ask those questions? How can I, in a good way, and also in this way, you ask the question because you care about the company and you want to see it succeed. You care about your workplace, you care about the people you work with. So if you start with having the right motive, which is, I want to help this place succeed, and you articulate that to your leader, what leader doesn't want to hear that, right? I mean, there may be a few psychopaths, but most aren't, right? Most want to succeed. And so how can I tie into that in my conversation with the leader?
Right. And a really good point. And you talk about this in the book, in the culture question book here, where you talk about the importance of frontline employees not making it about themselves, right? Otherwise, it's not, a leader can just perceive that oh, they're whining, they're being a difficult employee, it's all about them, and they're just being high maintenance. Whereas, as you said, if you broaden it out and say, no, this isn't about me, this is about what's best for the organization, what's best for the team, and frame it that way, you're going to be far more successful.
Yeah, and we expect that of our leaders. We expect our leaders to think in that way. We need to have the same expectation of ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
Even if we're not in a position of leadership, why would we hold them to a different standard than we hold ourselves?
Absolutely.
We all need to have that high standard of the good of the group.
Absolutely. Now, I love in the book too, you have this little part, back to this importance of connecting with people, caring about people, being people focused as a leader. You have this part where you talk about what kids say about their coaches.
Yeah.
Right? What were the best coaches? And that's such a simple yet profound reminder, I guess, of some of the just sort of basics that we have to think about in the workplace. So can you share why you talk about that in the book?
Yeah. Well, I love that because, if out of the mouth of a teenager, it just comes out straightforward. Like, my coach had good things to say to me, but also some hard things, right? It's like, yeah, we need that from our leaders, right? We need the good things, but it's okay if they say a few hard things, right? They told me what to focus on rather than, or what were some of the other ones? Like, to pull it up. But I guess the main thing that we wanted to take away is to say, we learn a lot already about leadership early on if we just remembered, right? And here, so we came up with about 8 or 10 things that our coaches said to our kids and what our kids thought about those things. I don't know. We just thought that was fun.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's a good reminder, right?
Right.
And it's a good reminder. We all talk about this, the need for leaders to have that sort of coach hat on, right? To be more of a coach with their employees and not a boss with their employees.
I mean, the summary is from that whole thing is what the kids noticed is that the coaches focused on their development. They pushed them to excel, right? They didn't just let them be mediocre. They pushed them to excel. They cared about them. They, most of what we said in our book, actually, except that it's distilled into one page. So, if you just want to read one page, read that.
Right. Well, and a good coach too. Yeah. When I'm thinking about this now, a good coach's job is to develop leadership skills.
Absolutely.
And of course, that is also an essential ingredient in a healthy workplace culture, and a healthy leadership team is to be developing more leaders.
Yeah. Right. And then to help the team play together.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And have fun.
Yeah, have fun.
So on that note, humor at work, of course, we talk about the importance of humor in the workplace and how that can have a huge effect on workplace culture.
Yeah.
You found in your research that humor is important, and if so, why?
Yes. We focused in on the question of fun in the workplace in our research. And so one of the things that we saw is that 93% of the people who said they have a great workplace also said they have fun at work. That's a lot of people, right? I have a great workplace, I have fun at work. And then they had all kinds of qualitative comments about, we work hard, but we have a lot of fun. Those sorts of things just showed up so often in our research. And to me, I feel like it's like this. If I can have fun with I need to have a certain amount of trust so humor can create trust as long as it's not negative, disparaging humor. It can create trust. It can bond us. And as I bond with people, I want to please them. That is, I want to carry my share of the load. I want to work with them. I want to spend time with them. And we saw like some pretty significant relationship, like, well, not just us. I mean, there's lots of studies out there. I'm sure you've seen them. And in fact, I heard you quote some of them in some of your other interviews around just the value of humor and fun in helping teams perform. And we saw exactly the same thing in our research.
Fabulous, fabulous. It's so important. And to me, one of the starting points or essential ingredients with the whole fun humor thing is that it's a chicken and egg relationship, right? So the humor and fun helps us build a better culture, but it also reflects a positive culture.
Yes.
If you do all those things that you talk about in the culture question, then it becomes that much easier for me to bring my sense of humor along for the ride when I come into work every day, right? Yeah. Well, Eric, thank you so much for your time. Again, the book is The Culture Question: How to Create a Workplace Where People Like to Work. Available at all fine bookstores, I assume. And soon to be perhaps made into a major motion picture.
We'll see. We're working with the scriptwriter right now,
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you, Michael.